Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We continue, Canto 8, Withdrawal of the Cosmic Creation, Chapter 22, Bali Maharaj surrenders his life. Text 8. Okay. Pitamaho me bhavadiya sammata
Namo me bhavatiya samata.
prarada aviskrita sadhuvada
Viskrita sadhuvada.
bhavad vipakshena vichitra vaishasam
Bhavat vipakshena vichitra vaishasam.
samprapitastam paramasvapitra.
Samprapitasvam paramasvatra.
So we are seeing Bali Maharaj still praying to Lord Vishnu. So he's continuing. My grandfather Prahlad Maharaj is famous, being recognized by all your devotees. Although harassed in many ways by his father Hiranyakashipu, he still remained faithful, taking shelter at your lotus feet. The Prabhupada explains how pure devotee like Prahlad Maharaj, although harassed circumstantially in many ways, never gives up the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to take shelter of anyone else. So, as a devotee, we have to practice taking shelter of Krishna and his devotees, not someone else. Maybe it could be our family members, or someone, a friend. Tendency is to take guidance from others. That's a tendency because you feel more confidence in them, mainly because we don't have confidence in Krishna and his devotees like that. Then Prabhupada says another quality of a pure devotee is he or she never complains against the mercy of the Supreme Personality of God. Usually, when something goes wrong, we blame Krishna. Krishna, why did you do this to me? I've been a good devotee. I've done everything according. And then why are you doing this? Huh?
Creating disturbance.
Yeah, so it could be mercy of the Lord, but because we are not able to recognize, we think it's a problem that the Lord has created like that. And so then Prabhupada gives the example of how Prahlad Maharaj underwent the austerities, no, the atrocities of his father against him. Finally, Prabhupada says, Bali Maharaj, following in the footsteps of his grandfather Prahlad Maharaj, remained fixed in his devotion to the Lord, despite the Lord's having punished him. So, which means in our own situation, if we are practicing Krishna consciousness and we may be put into some difficulty, or we may seem like we have been punished for no good reason sometimes, then we may take a position of not being happy with Krishna. But you can see here, even though the situation was really intolerable, Bali Maharaj actually never blamed Krishna. Rather, he still continued to want to take shelter of the Lord. So he's quoting his father to say that he himself also wants to take shelter of Krishna. He's saying, my grandfather went through that, so I also want to be like that. So he's very well trained as a disciple of Prahlad Maharaj. Text 9. Kimatmananena jahati yontata kim वित्तहारै स्वजनाख्यदस्युभिः
किं वित्तहारे स्वजनाख्यदाशुभिः
किं जायया संसृतिहेतुभूतया
किं जायया संस्कृतिहेतुभूतया
मर्त्यस्य गेहे किम् इहायुषा व्यया
मर्त्यस्य गेहे किं
What is the use of the material body, which automatically leaves its owner at the end of life? And what is the use of all one's family members who actually plunder us, taking away money that is useful for the service of the Lord in spiritual opulences? What is the use of a wife? She is only the source of increasing material conditions. And what is the use of family, home, country, and community? Attachment for them merely wastes the valuable energy of one's lifetime. Of course, in the present context, you can also say, what is the use of a husband? Also? Yeah, in Kali Yuga, both are working and so on. So, this statement is very true because, there was a devotee who was leaving her body in our community many years ago, and she did not write in a will who should take care of her. So she was, even though she was staying in the community, her family members came and she was about to die in a few weeks. And when they came, they told all the devotees they cannot come because they were Christians. And so they didn't want anyone to interfere. And the devotee wanted the devotees to be there, but the family members said no. They have the right for the last, the rights to take care of the person. Yeah, I think there's a law. If she had written in the will, then they can't do all those things. But then they refuse the devotees to come and sing for her and stuff like that. They didn't mind if they came to, give us some prasad like that, but no singing, no
Nothing really
kirtan,
spiritual.
just, you can come and visit and go like. And then towards the last few days, as she was slowly dying, the same family members were taking her stuff right in front of her. She had a nice car, so they're arguing, I will have the car. And then the other person, no, I'll have the car. And then I'll take the laptop. Like that. And she is watching as she's dying.
She couldn't tell.
She's just dying. She can't. She had lung cancer. She couldn't breathe, hardly breathe. So, but she could see these things were happening. So we should be very aware of what we think of our own family members. Unless they are devotees, if they are pious, they may be not so bad. But in general, they actually, as Bali Maharaj is saying, plunderers taking away money because they just want what you have. So, therefore, if we are devotees, then that's okay. So, devotee family, it's okay, right? If we chant and all, you will help each other like that. So, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the common man does not appreciate such a statement by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Krishna says, give up everything and surrender to me, ordinary people cannot accept that. It's very hard for them, right? They cannot understand what you mean by give up everything, because they are dependent on those things. So this is what is very interesting because how can they know that Krishna will take care of them? They can't know. So when they hear such statements, give up everything and surrender to me, they will think this is slavery. America has a history, right? Where the blacks have been unfairly treated and put as slaves. So they don't like those kind of things. Why I have to surrender to this person? And so it is part of their cultural thing where they never like things like one person surrendering to others. We must be equals, like that. So then Prabhupada continues saying, But from the behavior of great personalities like Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj, we understand that surrendering to the Lord is the right action for an intelligent person. So things like when we sincerely chant on our japa beads, that is surrender. That is surrender. When we sincerely read Prabhupada's books, that is surrender. We distribute the books, that is surrender. When we cook and offer it to Krishna, that is also surrender. All these are surrender, but it has to be done with the proper consciousness, right? If you don't offer it with the desire to please Krishna, then how do you know Krishna accepted it? So that's why we have to offer it through the spiritual master. We always ask the spiritual master to accept.
So, Prabhu, what if one member is trying to surrender but other members don't understand it? So, how does one deal with that?
I
Because
mean-
several members may not have the confidence that okay, you have to surrender to
Yeah,
Krishna.
so then you have to see what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Raghunath Das Goswami.
Internal.
Yeah, internalize and externally. He says, stay in your place and continue your duties. Yeah. But then internally you
Cultivate to
continue to surrender like that. There's no need to disturb others when they are not ready. Yeah. So the difference we see is in terms of surrendering. If we don't know how to do it, we should get guidance from the proper devotees who can tell us how they see, or the spiritual master who can also guide us accordingly. So Prahlad Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada says, took shelter of Vishnu because he already knew and understood from Narad Muni that who he needed to take shelter of. And for most of us, Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, our spiritual family, they all are also saying the same thing. The question is why we don't know how to surrender is because we still associate with the material energy, material devotees, or material, not devotees, material associates. Yeah. And here we see Bali Maharaj taking shelter of Vamanadev, understanding what the spiritual knowledge of what he has to do against the will of his spiritual master Sukaracharya. And all the other asuras were also shocked that Bali Maharaj decided to take shelter of Vamana Dev. Yeah. So in that context, Prabhupada says people cannot understand how Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj could give up family, give up their land and home, and take shelter of, in this case, an enemy. Because they only see Vamanadev as belonging to the demigods. They're not seeing it any other way. So it becomes very, very difficult. So therefore, in this verse, Bali Maharaj is saying, even the body, the family connection, everything is temporary actually. The real thing is one has to be serving the Lord. Therefore, he says one merely wastes their valuable energy of one's lifetime if they're worried about community, country, home, family, like that. Yeah. It's a very interesting take on it because mostly we don't think like that. It's very hard for us to give up family, the country we were born, right? The home we bought, the community of friends we have. But then through practicing sincerely, you'll know all these are temporary. The realization becomes strong.
Concrete.
And becomes concrete. Yeah. And then it makes you then take the proper measures or proper steps to remove yourself from such attachment. But if the practice is not there, then the realization cannot take place. And therefore, when we read such statements, we think it's not for us. We will always say it's for someone who's advanced, but we'll never say we will be like that, Yeah. So that's where the fallacy comes in place. Huh? So the context of why Bali Maharaj is saying this is because, if it's not connected to Krishna, then it's actually useless. That's what he's saying. And it's very important for most of us because we don't think like that. So then Prabhupada continues to say what Bali Maharaj was saying. Although I am the soul, which is eternal, after using the body for some time, I have to accept another body. It's a fact. We all have to go to the next body if we don't go back to Godhead, according to the laws of nature. Tata Dehantara Prapti. So then he says, unless I render some service of the body for advancement in devotional service, I have to keep taking birth. Yeah. Okay? So we should use it not for any material purposes, but rather we should use it for devotional purpose. So then again, Prabhupada re-emphasizes that point that if we use our body for any other purpose than devotional service, we're simply wasting time. Shrama eva hi kevalam, like that. Because as soon as we have to give up this body, we will be forced to take another body. And then he says, in general, in society, people are really interested in how the society is doing, how my friends are doing, right? We always text them or call them or Skype them or whatever technology you have, right? Everyone wants to know what your friend is doing, right? Or your wife went to India, you want to know also, right? How she's doing. How's my husband doing? So it's like
Now
that.
we have WhatsApp.
Yeah.
The whole family can chat and be
Yeah.
more attached to each other.
Extended family.
So even though they are friends in that sense, but as soon as you are dying, things change. The very same friends may not be happy to see you die. That may be true, but at the same time, they may be thinking, okay, how good a friend is he? Will he leave me something?
Calculation.
Yes. Is he going to give me something in his will? They think, right? They think, this person says I was one of his best friends, so let's see. Right?
It's like we are attached to the person and person's things also.
Yeah. It is like that. And sometimes they think, it's default, that I'm so close, they must know my heart. That whatever they have that I also desire, they know I need it. So sometimes, as a friend, you can ask your friend, hey, I want to get rid of my TV, do you want, and your friend say, no, new models are coming, I'll get it, they will say like that. Then when you give it away, they'll say, why did you give it away? I could have taken it from you. Right? They'll say things like that. So that's what it is. So therefore, Prabhupada says they are in the garb of friends. What is a good friend then?
When you takes you towards Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, one who is connecting you with Krishna. One who comes and chants when you're dying. One will clean you while you're incapacitated, bathe you, and pray that you go back to Godhead. That is real friend. So then Prabhupada says, everyone is affectionate toward his or her wife or husband and is attached to him or her. But what is this wife or husband? Right? So here Prabhupada talks about wife. The wife is called Stri, which means one who expands the material condition. But nowadays it's the same. Even the husband expands the material condition. Okay? Because they think, we are now married, so we need something different. We need more things. We need to show people that we are successful. We have to show them that we have made it. The goal of life is to become the best in the neighborhood. Yeah, they think like that. We have to show to our relatives, so they'll take in the camera. Now you can use your phone to take the whole house. You say, "Oh, mommy, oh, daddy, look, I've got all this. All my friends have all these things." So it's all showing up. So this is the problem. So then, which is also highlighted by Rishabh Dev. He says how the attraction between the male and female is the basic principle of material existence. But Prabhupada then says human life is meant for self-realization. It's not for material existence, not for increasing unwanted things. Right? So you should, every year you should go through things in your house to see what you don't need.
Yeah.
Right? Because we tend to accumulate and we think we can use it. And then before you know it, 20 years down has gone and still we think we will use it tomorrow. It's true, right? It's amazing how we are attached to it. I also know my mom also keeps some of her things. And we say, what, you're not even looking at it, reading. She has some books she likes. Then she said, no, you can't throw it. So you said, why? You're not even reading. No, you can't touch it. When I die, you can throw it. So it's kind of funny. So all these unwanted things we seem to keep,
But once we clear the unwanted things, we have Amazon, so we'll go buy more things.
That may be, but in general, you have to see why you really need it. And then if you know how to give it up, you will also think carefully before you purchase also. Yeah, why, like Black Friday, everybody is going Black Friday. But actually, if you already have the things, right, why you want to even worry about it, right?
So they create the hype.
They make
kids will
it.
say, "Oh yeah, now we have to go."
But look,
And then
mostly
they-
what they sell,
TVs.
TVs. Mostly that's it. Majority of the thing people buy is TV.
Old TV.
Replace.
But it's the
Take out
same,
old
right? As long as you can see something, it's good enough, right?
Like some people get like new fresh furniture and paint
No,
every
actually,
year.
let me tell you, the new TVs are not good because they can actually spy on you. Because they are supposed to be connected to the internet, the new ones, to automatically update their software and so on. So they are also able to see what you're doing. Also, they are so smart now. So it's not worth getting new technology sometimes because then they will. It'll come a time where the TV will start putting advertisement according to your needs.
It already does. Actually. Some of the smart TVs do that. Which
Yeah,
are connected to internet.
yeah. So
And
they
also-
know what you want, so they will do that. Or if you say some words, either in your phone or what, it is transmitted and it comes in your TV also. Like when you do something like if you Google or do, then later on in the certain websites,
immediately.
and you wonder why is that there. So they're actually spying on.
No, that's actually happened. How I bought my most recent car. I accidentally clicked on something. Everywhere I went, more information about that, articles about
More
that.
details.
They write articles and then they put it in your email, put it on the web page where you are going.
Yeah, so it's
So for
not.
almost 2 weeks, I was observing, chasing me, right?
Mm.
Continuously.
You are sold out finally.
And then I said, oh, this must be good. Even though I have the little bit of philosophy of Bhagavad Gita and all that, the subtle mind said that this is actually a good thing for you to buy.
So anyway, you should set up your browser that as soon as you get out the browser, it deletes all your cookies.
So it doesn't matter actually. They use other things.
So they have other
But at
techniques.
least the main things are clear.
There are like 2,000 people in Amazon doing that digital marketing.
Yeah.
So they're smarter people than us. Full time, 8 hours a day, they are doing this tracking.
Yeah. So that's why, since you can see it's so difficult, you should then dedicate more to Krishna. Then he'll protect you. Otherwise, you'll be suffering all the time. You cannot stop the suffering. You will suffer anyway, right? Why make it even more worse?
Maybe stop browsing.
Yeah, you should stop browsing. What is that? The only thing you want to browse is for Krishna conscious things.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. So Prabhupada says in this society, They don't have any institution for such spiritual education. And in fact, they don't want people to be spiritual. And therefore, they push this atheism very strongly through the scientists.
In schools, you cannot even talk more than one sentence.
Yeah,
Immediately
because
they
it's
will
all
report.
governed
In
by the
workplace,
same
more than
atheistic people. Yeah.
HR will, human resources will pounce on you.
So everyone is kept in darkness, Prabhupada says, about the goal of life, and therefore there's a continuous struggle for existence. And the last sentence is very nice. We speak of survival of the fittest, but no one survives, for no one is free under material conditions.
This is a punching stick.
Because everyone dies. Survival of the fittest.
One time, one TV anchor, he asked Prabhupada, what is the mortality rate in India? As if it's the mortality rate in India.
100%.
Prabhupada said everywhere it is 100%.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Right, text 10. Itam sanischitya pitamaho mahan agada bodho bhavata pada patmam dhruvam prapedehi akuto vayam jana vita swapaksha shabanasya sattama. My grandfather, the best of all men, who achieved unlimited knowledge and was worshipable for everyone, was afraid of the common men in this world. Being fully convinced of the substantiality afforded by shelter at your lotus feet, he took shelter of your lotus feet against the will of his father and demoniac friends who were killed by your own self. So he's praising Prahlad Maharaj. Text 11. Ataham apyatma ripostavantikam daivena nita prasabam tyajita shri idam kritantantika bharti jivitam yaya dhruvam stabdamatina buddhyate. Only by providence have I been forcibly brought under your lotus feet and deprived of all my opulence. Because of the illusion created by temporary opulence, people in general who live under material conditions, facing accidental death at every moment, do not understand that this life is temporary. Only by providence have I been saved from that condition. So Bali Maharaj is saying he is like very fortunate. He's not saying that there's a mercy of the Lord or what. He's saying I'm very, by faith somehow I've been brought here. And what is that? That is his mercy of his grandfather, Prahlad Maharaj. And that's what has brought him there. On his own, he says he wouldn't have done it. So he says, I've been forcibly brought under your lotus feet. So in the purport, Prabhupada says, although all the members of the demonic families except Prahlad Maharaj and Bali Maharaj consider Vishnu the eternal traditional enemy, except for these two personalities. Obviously, those who are close to them are also favorable, but it seems that a lot of the members in the Asura Kula, they see Vishnu as enemy, traditional enemy. How long they are, they just see him as a demigod who's against them, like that. So here he says, from the few verses we've been reading, he doesn't consider Vishnu as an enemy. He considers him the best of the demons. Remember? Say you're the well-wisher of the demons. Then Prabhupada quotes again from the 88th chapter. Yasyaham anugranami harishye taddanam shanai. That the Lord bestows special favor upon his devotee by taking away all his material opulences. So therefore he is known as Hari. Hari means he will take away that which is stopping you from surrendering to Krishna. So therefore people also say don't go and pray to Krishna. And then if they have deities of Krishna at home, they take away the flute. They say he'll blow all the material things. It's so funny, But that's what they say. But we can see if the Lord favors someone, he gives them a special blessing. And that special blessing is taking away material opulence. What happens if your material opulence goes away? You will lose all your friends, family members, those who are only attached to you because of the money. Yeah. And then you will see that your only shelter really is
Krishna.
hopefully you see that.
But sometimes, like I heard one story, true or not, I don't know. Somebody became very poor, they went through some problems, and the devotee then hung themselves and committed suicide or something like that. And then somebody was asking, if your philosophy is so strong, why did your devotee do like this?
We are not supposed to take our body first. That means the person who took the body didn't understand the philosophy. And we cannot say that they were going through a special mercy. No. They may be going through their karma. Okay. And one who practices, as I often mention, we should be reading Prabhupada's books carefully and try to understand what he means by this. How should we behave in this light or in this context? How to adjust our lifestyles. It's very important. And then you know why you're practicing it. For what reason are we practicing, right? What reason we became devotees? What reason to take initiation? All this must make sense. Otherwise, it's just a lip service, as Prabhupada used to say. It's a fashion. So when you say, oh, that person he was a devotee, person committed suicide, that means the person didn't understand the philosophy. Obviously, didn't understand it. One who understand means he or she will behave accordingly, right? Yeah. So if they did that, then they didn't understand.
And isn't it good to check with authority if this
Before you do any activity?
if
Yes.
This is what is happening.
There was Srila Prabhupada, one of his sannyas disciples, asked Prabhupada, what happens if a sannyasi falls down with a woman or something, or thinks about a woman? Prabhupada said that the sannyasi is not good. He should drown himself in the Ganga or something like that. So Prabhupada just said that,
Yeah.
So then it seems that someone saw that sannyasi go to the Triveni and then merge himself and give up his life. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Very
immediately
famous
went.
singer.
I know the name. Is it?
Huh?
Is it? Vishnu Chandra?
Yeah. It is said like that.
Oh.
So then when Prabhupada heard, he said, why did he do that? I need all the men I need for this preaching. Prabhupada was.
Especially he liked
So you need to concur with the spiritual authority. You know what? I'm thinking of committing suicide. What do you think, my spiritual master?
Give me a stick.
Yeah, he said, where's the stick, you rascal? It's in the past time between Sanatana Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Sanatana Goswami wanted to commit suicide because he was full of sores in his body, and so he thought, what is the use? He wanted to commit suicide. Then Mahaprabhu came and then hugged him and said, you have no right. This body belongs to me.
Chota Haridas first time also there.
Yeah.
He also committed.
Yeah, but that's a different situation. That's a different situation. It's based on that pastime that this sannyasi,
Sannyasi, that's what I'm relating to.
committed suicide. But that Chota Haridas pastime is different. Because Mahaprabhu wanted him to do that, but here Prabhupada didn't want him to teach the standard for sannyas. But anyway, so no one has the right to commit suicide. Because you didn't create this body. I mean, your karma and your desires, yes, but the body was given to you for purpose, not for doing what you want. Okay, so So this special favor, a devotee actually appreciates it. He tries his best to connect with Krishna, and then all these circumstances of difficulty comes to him. He understands Krishna wants him to learn something from it. So you have to become very advanced to to appreciate that. If you can't and you think, why am I going through that? Then you go to a devotee who's at least more advanced than you are, and then ask them, I'm going through this, I'm confused, tell me what to do. It's good to speak it out so you'll feel less burden. Let the burden, sometimes you cannot carry the burden. Actually you can, but because of your mental condition you cannot. So therefore you need assistance. So you need someone who's more spiritually stronger, your spiritual master, your guide, your Siksha Guru, like that. So hopefully they will guide you properly. Hopefully they are good devotees also. Or if they say, I don't want to hear about your problems, don't disturb me then. As devotees, when someone is really going through difficulty, we should at least give them some time. And say, what is it? Let me hear. But it's just wasting your time, then you can say, I am busy. But if they are really feeling depressed and going through difficult time, then it's good to help them out. Yeah. Sometimes just listening or them speaking out their heart, they will be relieved of the difficulties. They say, and then they'll say, thank you,
Yeah.
And you're like, I didn't do anything. But it's
Just
true.
learn
By
something.
simply talking to you, and you may say one or two things, and then may hit them, say, yeah, this is a good point. Yeah. Therefore, we should always be compassionate like that. All right. So then, common man is carry. So Prabhupada says in the next paragraph, Janat Bitaha. Every devotee in Krishna consciousness should always be afraid of the common man engaged in pursuing material prosperity. Right? In Vaishnava etiquette, it says one shouldn't associate with atheist, one who's really materialistic, or a man who is
Below is chasing the below.
no, a man who is very attracted to the opposite sex. Yeah. So if you are associating with such person, then they will affect your consciousness.
Yosit Sangi.
Hmm?
Yosit Sangi.
No, use it. So you have to be very careful. Both ways, even for a man as well as for a woman also.
But even in our society, we see like people are buying bigger and bigger houses and all that. So calling ourselves spiritualists, but we still have that materialistic dog
If
race.
you have a good relationship with that person, you should tell them with their open heart. You say, why are you doing this? Why are you setting bad examples? Right? If you have good relationship, you can tell them, why are you buying such a big house and what is the reason? What's your goal? And they normally those devotees will say, I want to do programs in my home. I want to invite them. How many programs you want to do,
Once a
Prabhu?
year,
Yeah.
once a year.
Yeah. If it's once a year, don't buy it. Yeah. If you do it every week, okay. Then buy it.
Two people talked to me, purportedly taking my advice whether they should buy or not,
Mm.
but they did it regardless. One spent 1.6 million, one spent 1.8 million.
Yeah.
And
one
they have been
point.
coming to temple for a long time. And
Yeah, but that's my point, you see. Whether they spend a lot or not, it should make sense why they're doing it. How does it balance with our Krishna conscious principles? Any action you do, you have to ask, then you have to take the reactions after, right? You have to take the reactions. Okay, I'm going against the principle, so I have to take the reactions. If good advice is given, if you don't want to take, then don't ask.
yeah, they asked me, and I gave
Okay,
them
then next
advice.
time anyone
And then-
says, Prabhu, I want to, then you should ask, will you follow, or are you just asking for a second?
Like Madhura Maharaj once said in Russia, Moscow, he was giving a lecture.
Yeah.
There'll be devotees who will ask the same question to 6 sannyasis.
Yes.
One of them will say yes, and they'll say, that Maharaj told me, so I will.
Yes, yeah.
I'm actually following authority.
But that's the same,
Fine,
no?
they'll ignore.
It's the same as going to doctors also, right? You
Go
go,
to the one which
We just want to hear what we want to
same
hear.
frequency.
yeah. I know of
That's
one
what- that's what
devotee's
you want really.
one devotee's mother, she had cancer. I think stomach cancer. So then the doctors all told her, don't eat meat and all this, hard to digest. So just take simple vegetable food for chemo treatment and all. Then she wasn't happy. So she went to like 6 doctors. They all say no until she met one say, you can eat anything you want. So she came back to her
You are
son
bona fide.
and said, look, the doctor say I can eat. Why are you saying I have to be vegetarian? So people are like that. They will always look for a way out. Yeah. So yeah, we don't want to associate with common people because they will drive us mad. Simply seeing them having something will already agitate your mind. Right? What to speak when they say, come, oh, you no man, you try, you see, you know how good it is. And you try, oh yeah, I want also. That's like when we give books, right? Distribute, we say touch, right? So they touch, they purify, and then they're okay. The same way, materialism also affects us. Yeah. So yeah, and Prabhupada says such men do not know that after hard struggle for life, one must change his or her body with no certainty of what kind of body he will receive next. So if you are not connected to Krishna consciousness, there's no certainty of what kind of body we will get. And then Prabhupada quotes from this Prahlad Maharaj, famous, na?
Yeah.
Adanta gopi vishatam tam puna charita charita. Now why he says that is because we've been going through this life so many times. Coming back, taking birth, doing the same thing, going through 8.4 million, coming back human, go through the same thing. So therefore we shouldn't pursue materialism. And part of the problem is uncontrolled senses. So what are the first things we learn in Krishna consciousness? Yeah, controlling senses.
Controlling senses and
Very important. We are taught first thing to do is control senses. And the best way to control senses is
Eat prasadam.
and
Chanting.
chanting the holy name seriously. Yeah, because if the senses are not controlled, including the mind, it'll waylay you, it'll cheat you, and then you commit sinful activities. Yeah. So here, ultimately, the whole point here is Bali Maharaj feels that he was in a life of ignorance and that the Lord personally, this is like Prabhupada says, Kripasiddhi, came to save him because of the blessings of his grandfather. Yeah. So he therefore said that his intelligence has been stunned. Stabda matina buddhyate. Because he cannot understand how the Lord is favoring him. Yeah. But he knows it's because of his grandfather. And that,
one question. So normally it says like if anybody gets liberated, the 7 generations get liberated.
So there are few, 7,
Some number.
21, 1400.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Prahlad Maharaj was liberated already. So it was arranged by God in so that
Yes.
Bali Maharaj will also get liberated.
Yes. Not that they all are born liberated, no. They
Okay.
also go through.
The arrangement will be made.
So it's like they're given a chance to get liberated.
Yes. It's like you still have to have some purification. No?
still have to pay.
Yeah, you still have to pray. Nothing is for free.
So they say for past generation also, right? Like if one gets
Yeah, so the Lord will arrange in the other
next
life.
life.
In the other lives. Yeah, wherever they are, the Lord will arrange for them to get opportunities to
Will be
meet
given.
devotees and take up the processes.
Or they may be born in Ram Mukund family like that.
Prabhu, what is it they say
That's
for
an opportunity.
Uttamadhikari, for Madhyamadhikari, it's a certain number of generations, and for Kanishta it is.
Yeah, yeah.
What is the number? they say?
Well, it says Kanista 7 or something. Then, like, if it's a pure devotee, Uttamadhikari, it could be 100 generations. So, like, but let's not worry about it. First become a pure devotee.
Then we become a pure devotee.
Yeah, then you can worry about this.
Should I go 7 or?
But,
Ask
but even a Kanista Adhikari, he has to complete the
If he
sadhana
hasn't
process.
completed.
Yeah. Yeah. You won't get it if you don't go back to Godhead anyway. So don't think I'm Kanista. So, you understand? So it doesn't make sense.
So Maharaj, the first book that I received was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
16 years ago, I started chanting. It seems like a lifelong process, and still nothing's happening.
Yeah,
Much
it
has
takes
happened.
time because you are attached to so many things, no?
Hmm.
You know it.
I know it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
that's
I just told you example of how I got
Yeah,
it up.
so you have to learn to give it up. We all go struggle, but the real struggle is surrendering. Text 12. Srisukavacha Tasyatam Vasamanasya
तस्येदं वासमानस्य
Radha Bhagavat Priya
भगवानो भगवत्प्रियः
Ajagama Kuru Shrestha
आजगाम गुरुश्रेष्ठ
Rakapati Vivotthita
राघवदेवोत्थितः
Sukadev Goswami said, or best of the Kurus, while Bali Maharaj was describing his fortunate position in this way, the most dear devotee of the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj, appeared there like the moon rising in the night time. Uh-huh. Huh?
He just appeared, like Providence.
Tam Indrasena Sapita Maham Shriya
तमिन्द्रसेना स्वपितामहस्य
Virajamanam Nalinayitakshana
विराजमानां नलिनायते क्षणम्
Ramshum Pishangam Varamanjana Tisham
रंसुं विशङ्गां परमञ्जनशिशम्
Pralamba Bahum Subhagarshvam Akshatam Then Bali Maharaj saw his grandfather Prahlad Maharaj, the most fortunate personality, whose dark body resembled black ointment for the eyes. His tall, elegant figure was dressed in yellow garments. He had long arms, and his beautiful eyes were like the petals of a lotus. He was very dear and pleasing to everyone. Everybody likes Prahlad Maharaj, even the demons also like him, because he's a pure devotee, well wisher of everyone. Text 14. Tasmai balirvaruna pasayantrita
तस्मै बलिर्वारुणायनितः
Samarhanam no bajahara purvava
समर्पणमो वयहारपूर्वः
Namamudna shruvilola lochana
नरामूर्ध्नाश्रुविलोललोचना
Sabridanichi namuko babuvaha
सवेदनीचेन मुखो बभूवः
Being bound by the ropes of Varuna, Bali Maharaj could not offer befitting respect to Prahlad Maharaj as he had before. Rather, he simply offered respectful obeisances with his head, his eyes being inundated with tears and his face lowered in shame. He wanted to offer respect, he couldn't, so he's feeling bad. Text 15. Satatrahasi namudikshya satpatim
सतग्रहासिनमुदिक्षसत्पतिम्
Harim sunandadi anugay rupasitam
हरिं सुगन्धादिअनुगैरुपासितम्
Pratyabhumma shirasa mahamana
उपेत्य भूमौ शिरसा महामना
Nanama murna bulakashu viklava
ननाममुना पुलकाशु विग्रहः
The great personality Prahlad Maharaj saw that the Supreme Lord was sitting there, surrounded and worshipped by his intimate associates like Sunanda. He was overwhelmed with tears of jubilation. Approaching the Lord and falling to the ground, he offered obeisances to the Lord with his head. He paid dandavats. Text 16. Shri Prarada Vacha
श्रीप्रहलादवाच
Tvayaiva dattam padamaindramurjitam. Tvayaiva dattam padamaindramurjitam.
त्वयैव दत्तं परमेन्द्रपूजितं
Ritam tarevadya tataiva shobhanam.
कृतं तदेवाद्य तथैव शोभनम्
Manye mahanasya krito hi anugraho.
मन्ये महानस्य कृतो हि अनुग्रहो
Vibramsito yachriya atma mohana.
विभ्रंशितो यक्ष्यात्ममोहनः
Prahlad Maharaj said, My Lord, it is your Lordship who gave this Bali, the great the very great opulence of the post of Heavenly King. And now, today, it is you who have shared Shakti. Those things can cover you easily. You have to be very careful. And one of the things Prabhupada says is once you accumulate material things, you become proud.
So, Prabhu, how does one because if you, as soon as you get a new thing, you keep thinking about the new thing all the time.
Saraswati Thakur said, before you go to bed, take the chappal and hit your head 100 times, then you go to bed. Get up, take a broomstick and beat again. So it means constant reminder, right? Like for example, like your phone, the picture you put on the phone is an indicative of do you want to remember Krishna or you put someone like that. Things like that. I'm just giving an example, right? Like you put all pictures of deities all around your house, so that you can always remember only Krishna, like that. So you buy something new, you offer it to Krishna and say you use it first, and then you say, okay, let me see how I can use it so that I can connect with Krishna somehow like that. Yeah, but you're right. It's not easy.
Or before we buy, we can think, are you reaching for Krishna or not?
Usually you won't know.
For Krishna, yeah. If you are not reaching, don't buy them.
Offer it to Krishna. So you get.
Devotees are expert in dovetailing or telling to.
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
what
that's
we-
right. That's right. You will always say that I'm going to use it, for a magnanimous service. You will always think like that, but it becomes very selfish, in the end. So yeah, so you need to practice seriously. I think the whole thing is you have to come to a point in your life that you want to go back in this life.
Yeah.
Then whatever you do, you will think
Align.
if it's going to hold me back, I'm not going to invest in that. But if you don't have that, then you will continue in that same fashion. So you need to convince yourself you want to go back first. Know your goal, then see how you can get your right. Otherwise, you can't do that.
So, Prabhu, I have a question. So
Yeah.
here it is we're talking about material opulence.
Mm.
Similarly, there is a spiritual, not opulence necessarily, but spiritual. Sometimes we get designations or name, spiritual opulence, and because of that, pride comes,
Yeah, private.
which is equally bad, right?
Same, yeah.
I mean,
But if your pride comes, it's a material thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you get spiritual opulence, you feel humbled by it, then it's okay. But if you feel, oh, I'm such a good devotee, the Lord Himself is giving me so many things, that's pride. But if you think like Sudama Vipra, why is the Lord giving me this? Is He wanting me to forget Him like that? Yeah. So then you have to be careful. Yeah.
So, Prabhu, one practical question. So, if a devotee is endeavoring so that he can retire fast, and but is very clear, he's not trying to enjoy, but wants to close the business fast. So, how do we make sure that we're not becoming attached as in the process?
Attached to?
Attached to trying to accumulate more. That happens because we're dealing with energy more, better energy.
Yeah, that's why you need to be very careful when you make such choices also. Because the Lord will also see, right, and He'll test you. Material energy is going to test you to see are you sincere or not. So then you get more opulence and you're thinking maybe I should continue like that.
Yeah, so that's the catch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or you should say, okay, well, if I get more, I'll give it more to Krishna. I immediately give it. Why wait until you retire to give? Right? Right? One devotee asked Bhakti Charuswami, we are going to tell the devotees to make a will. Then when they die, their money will come to the temple. And Maharaj said, that's a good idea, but why wait until you die? So why not give now? So in the same way as you are thinking you need so much, as you get the money, do the service. Give to Krishna. Right? Why wait? But if you are sincere like that and as you're doing, then Krishna will allow you to quit like that. But if you accumulate, the hoarding propensity comes in.
Yeah, that we have to be careful.
Yeah. You can say, I'll be careful, but then who is checking you?
We have to be accountable.
Yeah. So the another way is you can always give a report to your guru or Shiksha guru and say, this is all money I have. I'm accumulating so much for retirement. Whatever you want, you take. Can you do that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Some devotees can do that. They give their Guru Maharaj everything. This is all I have, Guru Maharaj, for this year. This is my report. I'm only saving so much and I have so much in the bank. If you want, you can tell me and you can take, I'll give it to you. I've seen it because I've served my spirit. Some
At
devotees
times,
do.
Guru says you don't give, you keep for yourself.
Yeah, then the Guru will say, no, I don't need it. But if I need, I'll ask you.
Yeah.
So they are okay like that. But there are devotees who are willing to put everything out. So you must understand they are at a higher level of surrender. Okay, so Prabhupada says here, practically no one is interested in God. And it's true. And that's why it's very hard when we make someone interested in God. Remember, they have no interest originally. Then we give them some interest. Then they get initiated.
Bring their baggage.
Yeah, the baggage, the conditioning is there, and therefore it's very hard for many devotees to give up immediately. But part of the problem is they don't know how to associate. Okay. They associate for social reasons, not for advancing in spiritual matters. So that's why you don't find many people coming to the temple to hear pravachan, even to get together to improve one's Krishna consciousness. Very few people do it. You can go anywhere in the world; it's the same. Except for places like in the Dham, where there are gathering of devotees. Practically, no, not many places. But if you read Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada says this ISKCON is created for the 6 loving exchanges. So how often are we doing that? So if you are wanting to improve, you go out and make that loving exchange. You take the steps. Krishna will recognize you at the time of that. Swalpamapi asya dharmasya. It won't be swalpam. The fact that you did so much effort, the Lord will come and take with an airplane. So be like that. So how to act and all this, it's only in Krishna consciousness. In ISKCON only we are teaching. Other groups, even the other Vaishnava groups, are having difficulties with their, many of them don't even follow the regulative principles. I'm not joking. And the Guru still initiates them. Give them Diksha and all, and I'm shocked. So we can see, Prabhupada's potency. Yeah. And this problem we have is because Prabhupada says we are mad for material possessions. Bhogaishvarya prashaktanam taya parita chetasam. So that thing will not come in your mind if you pursue Bhoga and Aishvarya. So give up those things. If it comes on its own accord, thank the Lord. If it doesn't come, don't worry about it. So Prabhupada says if the civilization like this continues, there will be a time when the Lord will come and take away everything. We can see that. Now look at Australia. Look at the amount of fire. It is devastating. It's like hell there.
2 billion animals died.
They estimated.
Billion animals estimated to be burnt.
Yeah.
2 billion.
2
Billion. Yeah, it's not million. 2 billion.
Billion.
Billion, yeah, with a
It's
B.
almost entire Australia is burning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
the
you see
coast-
the map, it's all coast,
it's
all across.
All the coastal, mainly the coastal.
North, south, east, west.
Wherever there's civilization, the fire is there. Because they're all into sense enjoyment. So the Lord is giving them nice one.
Clean.
The rascals. We can't see. We blame the weather pattern. We blame all the fossil fuel and
Yeah.
stuff. But actually, it's sinful life. Adi. So then Prabhupada finally ends and says, then people will come to their senses. So when people are suffering, you can preach to them easily.
Even ourselves, we can
Yeah, text
understand better.
18. Sri Sukha Vacha
Shrishukavacha
Tasyanu Shrinvato Rajan
Tasyanushrivatorajan
Naradasya Kritanjale
Prahladasya Kritanjale
Hiranyagarbho Bhagavan
Hiranyagarbho Bhagavan
Vacha Madhusudanam.
Vacha Madhusudanam.
Sukadeva Goswami continued, O King Parikshit, Lord Brahma then began to speak to the Supreme Personality of Godhead within the hearing of Prahlad Maharaj, who stood nearby with folded hands. Text 19. Baddham Vikshyapatim Sadvi
Padam Vishwapatim Sadvi
Tatpatni Bhaya Vivala
Tatpatni Bhayavivala
Pranjali Pranatopindram
Pranjali Pranatopendram
Babase Vanmukhi Nirpa.
Vase Avan Mukhi
But Bali Maharaja's chaste wife, afraid and aggrieved at seeing her husband arrested, immediately offered obeisances to Lord Vamanadev Upendra, folded her hands and spoke as follows. So her name is Vindhyavali. Okay, in case you're wondering. So then this is her prayers. Text 20. Shri Vindai Valir Uvacha
Vacha
Kridartamatmana Yidam Drijagakritam Te
Kriyaatmatmanitam Jagatkratam Te
Swayam Tu Tatra Kudiyo Para Isha Kuryuhu
Samyam tu tatra kudiyo aparishakudyo
Kartu Prabhostava Kimasyata Avahanti
Kartu prabhostava kimasyatavahanti
Tyaktariyastvat Avaropita Kartripadaha
Tattariyasvatnavaropitatrapramada
Srimati Vindhyavali said, O my Lord, you have created the entire universe for the enjoyment of your personal pastimes, but foolish, unintelligent men have claimed proprietorship for material enjoyment. Certainly, they are shameless agnostics. Falsely claiming proprietorship, they think they can give charity and enjoy. In such a condition, what good can they do for you, who are the independent creator, maintainer, and annihilator of this universe? So it's very funny the way she's saying it. So Prabhupada writes, Bali Maharaj's wife, who was most intelligent, supported the arrest of her husband and accused him of having no intelligence because he had claimed proprietorship of the property of the Lord. So if you are intelligent, then you understand who it belongs to. It doesn't have to be a man or woman. If you study Prabhupada's book, you'll understand it. Such a claim is a sign of demoniac life. To think that it belongs to us. Nothing belongs to us. You have to always remember when you took birth, you had nothing. When you die, you will take nothing. So nothing belongs to us. Although the demigods who are officials appointed by the Lord for management are attached to materialistic enjoyment, they never claim to be proprietors of the universe. So that's one good thing about the demigods. They don't claim to be the lords of the universe. For they know that the actual proprietor of everything is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we also have to cultivate that understanding. Anything we use, daily we have to say, this is given to me by the Lord. Even though you offer boga, everything, when you are eating, you should say, Krishna has offered this to me. So nicely, so kind of Krishna. And when you eat, you say, Krishna has tasted this, and therefore it tastes so nice. So that's how you connect. And you have to practice that daily. In the beginning, you say, later on, automatically when you look at something, you'll think, Krishna enjoyed this. Now I can enjoy it on behalf, right? Like that. Right? So this is a qualification of a demigod or devotee. But the demons, instead of accepting the exclusive proprietorship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, claim the property of the universe for themselves through demarcations of nationalism. Right? Before the Second World War, people can go to any country.
Yeah.
There was no immigration,
Visa.
no visa, nothing.
In Europe, right?
No, everywhere.
Even America, no visa.
America, Asians were not allowed.
Yeah. Asians were not. America, they already they closed everything. But in Europe and all, you could just go travel around. But after that, they became more. I think First World War or something. Yeah. Then they started making this rule. You cannot come to our property. So that's what Prabhupada says, demarcations. It's ridiculous because, thousands of years from now, things will be so different, right? And then the next paragraph, Prabhupada says, Bali Maharaj's wife accused Bali Maharaj by saying that although the Supreme Personality of Godhead had arrested him, showing him extraordinary mercy, and although Bali Maharaj was offering his body to the Supreme Lord for the Lord's third step, he was still in the darkness of ignorance. Why? This is the reason. Actually, the body did not belong to him. But because of his long-standing demoniac mentality, he could not understand this. That's what she's saying. Anyway, she's trying to save him also. And then in the last paragraph, Prabhupada says, thus Vindhyavali, Bali Maharaj's intelligent wife, prayed that her husband be released by the Lord's causeless mercy. Basically, she's saying, oh, he's a fool, just release him. Otherwise, Bali Maharaj was nothing but a shameless demon, specifically described as Tyakta Riyas Tvad Avaropita Kartrivadaha, a foolish person claiming proprietorship over the property of the Supreme Person. Right? So even devotees sometimes, they buy a house and then they say, I have asked many times when they invite you for the household, where are you putting your deities? And then they'll say, we have got a small room at the back somewhere. I say, why? The Lord is the owner of this house, not you are not the owner. They say, no, yeah, but people come and then it will not be easy to do the worship and offering. I'll say, okay, that's okay. Some people have it in the closet or under the stairs. Or in a closet, like that.
I heard Gauranga was saying.
Oh, Harilas Maharaj.
Harilas Maharaj.
Harilas Maharaj stayed in the class, yeah.
So some person took Maharaj to his home. It's a big construction. He went everywhere. He showed all the rooms. And then Maharaj asked,
where's the baby, right?
Okay, he finally came down stairs and showed under the stairs somewhere.
Yeah.
Below the stairs.
Yeah. Why can't give one room, right? For the Lord, nice room. Why can't they give? That is nonsense. Right? You should give one room for a deity at least. If not, by right, it should be the main hall. But okay, so you want to do all other things.
At least
give a room, so that at least they have their personal leelas they can do. Right, so therefore, in the present age, Kali Yuga, the number of such shameless men, right, shameless devotees also. Anyway, these shameless men who are agnostics, disbelieving in the existence of God has increased. Now, agnostic means they accept supernatural things, but they cannot accept a personality of God here. Yeah. So in some cultures, they believe that they can become like superheroes, and fly and all that, but they don't believe the person who's giving them that power is God. Like that.
Is there a difference between agnostic and impersonalist then? Or they are
No.
similar?
But impersonalists believe there's a supreme being without a
Body.
form.
Oh,
Yeah.
and agnostic.
They
They
don't
don't
care.
They don't
believe.
believe.
They don't care whether he's there or not. It does
Yeah.
not affect me, does not bother me. That's what they're doing.
Potencies. They are more interested in the potency rather than the person.
We don't consent. If he exists, doesn't make me any difference, and that's the technical definition.
That's more than. But generally, they are into If you have power and you can fly in the world, they'll say, yeah, that's cool. But they won't say the Lord has
God has
given
this.
him the siddhi or whatever. They cannot say that. They won't accept that. Because they don't accept the existence of God. And then Prabhupada adds on to our society nowadays. What's happening? Trying to defy the authority of the Supreme Personality Godhead. So-called scientists, philosophers, and politicians manufacture plans and schemes for the destruction of the world. You can see that, no? Yeah, this is when it's really bad now. Ugra karma, as you say, yeah. And they cannot do anything good for the world. They don't want to. Why? Because they just want to make money. Just money, more money. As long as they can make money, they don't care. So Prabhupada says this world is now managed by these people and they mismanage it. And then he emphasizes, thus there is a great need for the Krishna consciousness movement for the benefit of innocent people. But these innocent people are foolish, they keep voting for the fools. If the present status quo is allowed to continue, people will certainly suffer more and more under the leadership of these demoniac agnostics. Okay, you should be very careful. Go and preach, try to give people prasadam, books, hopefully it will help. Or go on Harinam, at least the weather pattern will be normalized. Text 21. Shri Brahmo Vacha
Shri Brahma Vacha
Bhuta Bhavana Bhutesha
Bhutapavana Bhutesha
Deva Deva Jaganmaya
Deva Deva Jaganmaya
Chainamrita Sarvasvam
Jainam Sarvasvam
Nayam Arhati Nigraham.
Nayamvarati Nigraham.
Brahma said, O well-wisher and master of all living entities, O worshipable deity of all the demigods, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, now this man has been sufficiently punished, for you have taken everything. Now you can release him. He does not deserve to be punished more. So Brahma is also trying to help Bali Maharaj, knowing that he is a devotee of the Lord. Huh? Recommend, yeah, that's right. You need someone to recommend. Text 22. Krishna te nena datta bhu
Krishna te anena datta bhu
loka karma jitaschaye
Loka karma jitaschaye
niveditam cha sarvasvam
Niveditam cha sarvasvam
atma viklavayadiya.
Atma vikravayadya.
Bali Maharaj had already offered everything to your lordship. Without hesitation, he has offered his land, the planets, and whatever else he earned by his pious activities, including even his own body. Text 23. Yat padayor asutadisha lilam pradaya
Yatpadayor asutati sabilam pradaya
durvam kurairapi vidaya satim saparyam
Durva kure pavidaya satim saparnyam
abhyuttamam gatimaso bhajate trilokim
Abhyuttamam gatimaso bhajate trilokim
dasvana viklavamana katamartim riche.
Dasvana vikravamana
By offering even water, newly grown grass, or flower buds at your lotus feet, those who maintain no mental duplicity can achieve the most exalted position within the spiritual world. This Bali Maharaj, without duplicity, has now offered everything in the three worlds. How then can he deserve to suffer from arrest? You can see, even at that time, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam also applies. There's no change, in the worship of the Lord. Prabhupada writes in the purport, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so kind that if an unsophisticated person with devotion and without duplicity offers at the lotus feet of the Lord a little water, a flower, a fruit, or a leaf, the Lord accepts it. Now remember, for us, we have to offer it through our spiritual master. We are not pure enough to offer directly. So it has to go through the spiritual master. Okay. And then because the spiritual masters are merciful, they will tell Krishna to accept. And that's the only reason we are taking prasad. If you think we can directly offer, then no, it won't be. Krishna has no need to accept it. He can just say, oh yeah, nice. Okay. So it has to go through the Guru Parampara. Right. Then the devotee is promoted to Vaikuntha, the spiritual world. Just see, you only have to do these things. And do it without duplicity. Sincere. Chant, follow whatever your guru has said. 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles. Like that. And then offer, daily offer the Lord. And then the Lord will be pleased and you go back to Godhead. So easy. Brahma drew the Lord's attention to this subject and requested that he release Bali Maharaj, who was suffering, being bound by the ropes of Varuna, and who had already given everything, including the 3 worlds and whatever he possessed. So it seems the rope of Varuna will make you suffer. Huh? He says he's suffering being bound by the ropes of Varuna. Text 24. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. So now the Lord has heard everyone. So now he is going to give his opinion. Brahmanyam anugrinami Tadvisho vidunomi aham Yanmada Purusha Stabdo Lokam Mam Chava Manyate. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Lord Brahma, because of material opulence, a foolish person becomes dull-witted and mad. So now you know, right? You have to throw away all your material things. Thus, he has no respect for anyone within the 3 worlds and defies even my authority. To such a person, I show special favor by first taking away all his possessions. And that's only for a devotee, not for anyone.
So can we say if we just keep doing our devotion service and we don't have to bother about throwing material opulence also, Lord himself will
take it away. If it's a hindrance, yeah. You'll arrange someone to come and take it. Yeah. Yeah, the main thing is, as Krishna says here, if you have material opulence, you become mad. Mad means you don't accept the position of the supreme authority. You become mad. You think you did it yourself. So then at that time, if you are a devotee and the Lord feels compassion towards you, then as in the purport, Prabhupada repeats the last sentence, to show special favor, the Lord sometimes makes an example, someone like Bali Maharaj, who was now bereft of all his possessions. Right? So it doesn't mean for an ordinary person in the material world, they lose something, doesn't mean the Lord is showing special. It's not like, please don't think like that. So anytime some devotee say, I lost all the shares in the share market, it could be 2 things. Could be Krishna's mercy, it could be bad investment.
Slightly later.
Yeah. But if the person understands the Lord is there to help him, then he will think, the Lord took it away. Which is true both ways. Yeah. Text 25. Yada kadachit jivatma samsaran nija karmavi nana yonishvanishoyam paurushim gatim avraje. While rotating in the cycle of birth and death again and again in different species, because of his own fruitive activities, the dependent living entity, by good fortune, may happen to become a human being. This human birth is very rarely obtained. Even the Lord is saying it's rare. So we cannot misuse it. That's the point here. All right, so Prabhupada wants to emphasize one thing, he feels it's very important that we understand this thing doesn't affect the Lord in the material. He's independent. That's his point here. And it's important for us to keep hammering it because we forget. we have a tendency to equate with the Lord all the time, think we are the same. So we have to understand the Lord is not going to take birth in materially like we are. He does what he wants to do. Okay. So, but what about us? We tend to take different birth because of our association. So therefore, this famous verse, you all should know this: Purusha Prakriti Stohi Bhukte Prakriti Jan Guna Karanam Guna Sandusya Sarasat Yoni Janma. So, as you associate with different material modes, you are developing a future body accordingly. So, if you act like a fool, then you'll get a foolish body, right? And if you act like an animal, you'll get an animal body, like that. So, according to how you want to take association, you will get some kind of body. So, therefore, Prabhupada writes in his translation, thus he meets with good and evil among various species. Right? You can be a deer running happily, and then someone comes and shoots you, just like that. And you're thinking, why are they trying to kill me? Like that. So, you do not understand. So you go through various species. Then you become a chicken, and then you find that you're bunched up with other chickens in this cage. And then outside, when the camera goes back, it's Kentucky Fried Chicken farm, like that. Then you die and you take birth in another place. Yeah. And an insect, and then somebody spraying in India DDT to kill you. And you're thinking, why are they doing this to me? What have I done? Huh? Right? So they go through so many, Prabhupada says, so many forms, cycle of birth and death. So many, 8.4 million species we went through to take this human birth. You cannot imagine, right? And if you can remember, you go crazy.
Also from time immemorial. I don't know how many repetitions we must
Yeah, you don't know. So that's why you cannot remember and shouldn't remember. Yeah. So the whole idea is, okay, we are going repetition. We have to stop this because the human birth is very rare. Sudurlabha. Very difficult to get this. So Prabhupada says one should not risk degradation in the next life. Okay. So if you don't take advantage now, then we are forced to take a lower form of birth in the next life. So we should be extremely careful. Use it properly. So Prabhupada writes in the last two sentences, a foolish living entity declares freedom from all control. But factually he is not free. Nobody is free. He is fully under the control of material nature. He must therefore be most careful and responsible in the activities of his life. So when we come to Krishna consciousness, we become responsible, or we should be responsible. Text 26. Janma karma vayorupa
Janma karma vayorupa
Daishvarya danadivi Yadi yasya na bhavet stamba
Yadiyasya bhavistampas
Tatrayam mad anugraha.
tatrayam madanugraha.
The human being is born in an aristocratic family or a higher status of life if he performs wonderful activities, if he is youthful, if he has personal beauty, a good education, and good wealth, and if he is nonetheless not proud of his opulences, it is to be understood that he is especially favored by the Supreme Personality of God. So, at least I know I don't qualify. Right? So you can see those who are born in the aristocratic family, there's some mercy of the Lord. Okay. Prabhupada writes, when in spite of possessing all these opulences, a person is not proud.
Yeah,
So he's qualifying what the Lord is saying. This means that he's fully aware that all his opulences are due to the mercy of the Supreme Personality of
Like
God.
Prabhupada.
Yes.
Acharyas.
Acharyas. There are many devotees are like that. Giriraj Swami, like that.
Yeah.
They come from wealthy family, but they're not interested in that. He therefore, or like even Robert Swami also, no? He was going to be a doctor and he quit and all that. So all these are exceptional devotees. He therefore engages all his possessions in the service of the Lord. The devotee knows very well that everything, even his body, belongs to the Supreme Lord. If one lives perfectly in such Krishna consciousness, it is to be understood that he is especially favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if they give up all that opulence to become devotee, then you should understand they are favored by the Supreme Lord. The conclusion is that once being deprived of his wealth is not to be considered the special mercy of the Lord. Okay? I'll repeat that again so you can understand. The conclusion is that once being deprived of his wealth is not to be considered the special mercy of the Lord. If one continues in his opulent position but does not become unnecessarily proud, falsely thinking that he is the proprietor of everything, this is the Lord's special mercy.
Not having opulence is not.
This is version 2.
Yes, because we may think we are like Bali Maharaj, but that's a special case. And for Prabhupada himself also, he felt things were taken away from him. So in his situation, he can say that also. But for us, we cannot say it's a Lord's special mercy, right? The stock market crash, we'll say the Lord's special mercy. but everyone loses. So
Upon everyone.
so we are not at that level. But if we, even with all that and you're humble, I remember one time we went to a home program and that person became a devotee, got initiated. He was a big doctor, but he had no furniture at home. He was sitting on the floor. And then when my Guru Maharaj came, he offered his rickety chair. And that's all he had, one small table and a chair. So that's where Guru Maharaj sat and then they're talking to him. But then later on he took initiation and all. So we can understand they are not attached to the wealth and so on. They're not proud people. They lived simply like that. Yeah. Text 27. Manastamba nimittanam janmadinam samantata sarvashreya pratipanam antamuyenna matparaha. Although aristocratic birth and other such opulences are impediments to advancement in devotional service because they are causes of false prestige and pride, these opulences never disturb a pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Janmaishvara, Shruta, Shri even Kunti Devi says, all these are not qualification for devotional service. Okay. So, devotees like Dhruva Maharaj, Prabhupada says, who was given unlimited material opulence, have the special mercy of the Supreme Personality of God. So that is special mercy. So much opulence. Once Kuvera wanted to give Dhruva Maharaj a benediction, but although Dhruva Maharaj could have asked him for any amount of material opulence, he instead begged Kuvera that he might continue his devotional service to the Supreme Personality of God. So that's what we should also try to aspire, We should always pray to devotees to ask them for their blessings that you can continue in your devotional service. When a devotee is fixed in his devotional service, there's no need for the Lord to deprive him of his material opulences. But it doesn't mean he accumulates material opulences. Okay, that's a difference. The Supreme Personality of Godhead never takes away material opulences achieved because of devotional service, although he sometimes takes away opulences achieved by pious activities. He does this to make a devotee prideless or put him in a better position in devotional service. So this is the third definition Prabhupada is giving, so that we don't concoct any understanding on this. If it's through pious activity, he'll take it away. But if it's through devotional service, he'll allow them to relish it or enjoy a little bit. Now, he does this to make a devotee prideless or put him in a better position in devotional service. If a special devotee is meant for preaching but does not give up his family life or material opulences to take to the service of the Lord surely takes away his material opulences and establishes him in devotional service. So that's like Srila Prabhupada himself, you know.
He's talking about himself.
Yeah. Thus, the pure devotee becomes fully engaged in propagating Krishna consciousness. So, yeah, he's talking about himself. But that's the idea. You know? It's not like the Lord takes it because he has nothing else better to do. But just to certain category, yeah, he will take it.
So here, meant for preaching is that is they are Nitya Siddhas, like
It's
they are
possible
supposed to
Nitya
be-
or not necessarily. It could be Nitya Siddha, but sometimes even other devotees also, normal devotee who may be really or through the Lord's special mercy, special favor you cannot understand. So Lord has
Picks-
earmarked.
to use for
Picks up.
preaching.
Yeah, he said, "No, this guy, I want him." Nimitta matre. Huh?
Let's make him the
Tag him,
instrument.
yeah,
Let's make him the instrument.
Yeah. So like that. So then that's special mercy. But generally, the Lord will pick the right person. Because if the wrong person will cry, you know. The special person
Complain.
will live up to the status. Just like you see the Pandavas, so much austerities they went, but they never gave up the worship of Lord.
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, yeah, so many personalities like that. Text 28. Eshadanava Daityanam
Eshanavadaitanam
Agrani Kirti Vardhanaha
Agrani Kirtivardhanam
Ajay Siddha Jayam Mayam
Ajay Siddhajayam Ayam
Siddhan Abhinamuyati.
Siddharvinamurti
Bali Maharaj has become the most famous among the demons and non-believers, for in spite of being bereft of all material opulences, he is fixed in his devotional service. In this verse, the words Siddhan Abhinamuyate are very important. The devotee is sometimes put into adversity while executing devotional service. In adversity, everyone laments and becomes aggrieved. But by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, a devotee, even in the worst condition, can understand that he is going through a severe examination by the Personality of Godhead. Bali Maharaj passed all such examinations as explained in the following verses. So now let's see, text 29 and 30. Shina Riktas Chutastana
Shinariktaschitasana
Shipto Baddhascha Satrubhihi
Shiptovadascha Sashatvihi
Nyatibhischa Parityakto
Yadivisya Parityakto
Yatanam Anuyapitaha
Yadanam Anuyapitaha
Guruna Bharshita Shapto
Guravashita
Jaho Satyam Na Suvrataha
Jagavasyamumasata
Chale Rukto Maya Dharmo
Chalayamto Maya Dharma
Nayam Tyajati Satyava.
Ayam Tajati Satyava
Although bereft of his riches, fallen from his original position, defeated and arrested by his enemies, rebuked and deserted by his relatives and friends, although suffering the pain of being bound, and although rebuked and cursed by his spiritual master, Bali Maharaj, being fixed in his vow, did not give up his truthfulness. It was certainly with pretension that I spoke about religious principles, but he did not give up religious principles, for he is true to his word. So the Lord himself is saying that. So this is a severe test. But he is the category that he is, he could do the test. We cannot actually. We shouldn't even think that we should be tested like that. We'll probably commit suicide, like that Prabhu was saying. So Prabhupada says this is further proof of Lord's mercy towards his devotee. So that the Lord himself is saying, I put him through all this. The Supreme Personality of Godhead sometimes puts a devotee to severe tests that are almost unbearable. So you can see in your life the situation where you're a devotee and you go through that. So there may be a reason, maybe you have such a bad karma that the Lord wants to purify you quickly. So maybe you go through that, and then you should feel relieved after the test. One could hardly even live under the conditions forced upon Bali Maharaj. That Bali Maharaj endured all these severe tests and austerities is the mercy of the Supreme Lord. The Lord certainly appreciates the devotee's forbearance, and it is recorded for the future glorification of the devotee. So the Lord tested him so that we can actually read about and glorify him. So this was not an ordinary test. As described in this verse, hardly anyone could survive such a test. But for the future glorification of Bali Maharaj, one of the Mahajans, the Supreme Personality of Godhead not only tested him but also gave him the strength to tolerate such adversity. The Lord is so kind to his devotee that when severely testing him, the Lord gives him the necessary strength to be tolerant and continue to remain a glorious devotee. So mostly for all of us, the test we go through means we can actually pass the test. But we have to be sincere and not duplicitous. And then the Lord will give us the understanding or the strength to go through also.
But Prabhu, why tests? Why can't we just chant nicely, do our devotion services, and please the Lord? Why does Lord puts us through tests?
So so that you will know whether you have your false ego there.
You will know.
Because if you are just chanting, you think you're so good, I'm so good.
It's like going to school without exam.
Yeah. So therefore the Lord will test you, or the material energy will test you to see whether you are attached to the Lord or you're just pretending.
It's for self-appraisal.
Yeah. You are the experiment and the control.
There's a saying in one of the verses, I don't know that. With the instructions comes the power to do the service.
Empowerment.
Yeah.
Empowerment.
Yeah. With the instruction, the power is there. That's what the Prabhupada is saying. Yeah. I'm not sure if there's a verse like that or not.
Maharaj,
I do not know. Text 31. Esha me prapita sthanam
Esha me prapita sthanam
Visprapam amarairapi
Visprapam amarairapi
Savarner antarashyayam Bhavitendro mat ashraya. Lord continued, because of his great tolerance, I have given him a place not obtainable even by the demigods. He will become king of the heavenly planets during the period of the Manu known as Savarni, the next cycle. This is the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even if the Lord takes away a devotee's material opulences, the Lord immediately offers him a position of which the demigods cannot even dream. There are many examples of this in the history of devotional service. One of them is the opulence of Sudama Vipra. Sudama Vipra suffered severe material scarcity, but he was not disturbed and did not deviate from devotional service. So that's the key thing we need to take. We shouldn't get disturbed and we should not deviate from devotional service. Because it's easily to get disturbed. Thus, he was ultimately given an exalted position by the mercy of Lord Krishna. Here the word Mad Ashraya is very significant because he took shelter of the Lord. Because the Lord wanted to give Bali Maharaj the exalted position of Indra, the demigods might naturally have been envious of him and might have fought to disturb his position. So therefore in the next cycle, in this cycle and Bali Maharaj has already done his 100 horse sacrifices. So he's qualified. So in the next cycle of the Manu, he will get that position. Alright? And also he says, I will always protect you. Mad Ashraya. One who surrendered is always protected. Text 32. Yavat Suttalam Adhyastam Vishwakarma Vinirmitam Yat Adayo Vyadayascha Klamastandra Parabhavaha Obasarga Nivashatam Sambhavanti Mamikshaya. Until Bali Maharaj achieves the position of King of Heaven, he shall live on the planet Sutala. which was made by Vishwakarma according to my order. Because it is especially protected by me, it is free from mental and bodily miseries, fatigue, dizziness, defeat, and all other disturbances. Bali Maharaj, you may now go live there peacefully. So he specially asked Vishwakarma to even go and build a heavenly situation. So it is another heavenly planet, Sutala. Prabhupada writes, therefore, since he was engaged to construct Vishwakarma, the residential quarters of Bali Maharaj, the buildings and palaces on the planet Sutala must at least equal those on the heavenly planets. The further advantage of this place designed for Bali Maharaj was that he would not be disturbed by any outward calamity. So all those three glaciers won't disturb him. Moreover, he would not be disturbed by mental or bodily miseries. These are all extraordinary features of the planet Sutala, where Bali Maharaj would live. So, of course, there are so many different planets, Prabhupada explains, that are much better than the planet Earth, but we have to understand that unless we read the scriptures, we don't know they exist, just like the scientists. They're trying to explore through my telescope and so on. And Prabhupada says all they see is rocks
Black hole.
and sand.
And black holes.
Right? But if they really want to know, they all have to do is read the scripture. It's a difficult proposition because generally they want to see it and feel it. But then the telescope they cannot see anything, So how can they believe that and not believe another literature which says the same thing? That's interesting. But that's something to think about.
They speculate also.
Yeah.
This is.
Based on all the wobble of the light
Yeah.
shift. Right? Based on all that, they say it's got
It's
oxygen.
not even radio waves based on they create images. It's not
And they
even
say it's so
optical.
many light years away. How do you know? They say it's calculation speed of light. But speed of light also is very curious. It can slow and speed at the same time. So we do not understand it clearly.
No focus, circular.
Because it's the energy of the Lord, so it acts in different fashion. Anyway, text 33. Indrasena Maharaja Yahibo Bhadramastute Sutalam Swargivi Pratyam Nyatibi Parivaritaha. Oh Bali Maharaj, Indrasena. Now you may go to the planet Sutala, which is desired even by the demigods. Live there peacefully, surrounded by your friends and relatives. All good fortune unto you. So Prabhupada says Bali Maharaj is transferred from Indra Loka to Sutala, which is hundreds of times better than heaven. Swargibhi Prarthiyam. So anyway, he takes away, seemingly he took away a lot of wealth, but actually he gave him a better position. And then the last point, I think for many devotees, this is also very important. The Supreme Personality of Godhead did not ask Bali Maharaj to separate from his family. Yay! Instead, the Lord allowed him to stay with his family members. Nyatibi parivaritaha. I've heard a lot of devotees, they ask, if I go to this, spiritual world, will my wife be there? Will my children be there? I've heard so many times the question. Sometimes it's hard to say no, but we say, yeah, if they also practice, they'll be there with you, which is the truth. Text 34. Natvam avibhavishyanti lokesha kim mutapare panchasanati gandaityam chakram me sudayishyati. On the planet Sutala, not even the predominating deities of other planets, what to speak of ordinary people, will be able to conquer you. As far as the demons are concerned, if they transgress your rule, my disc will kill them. So,
when Ravana tries to go there, Bali Maharaj just kicks him and he just can't do anything.
yes, Nobody can go there. That's the
I
point.
mean,
Vaman
Vaman.
Yes, Vamana. Yes.
We can't even enter that. That's right.
Text 35. Rakshishye sarvatoham tvam.
Rakshishye sarvatoham tvam.
Sanugam saparichadam.
Sanugam saparichadam.
Sada sannihitam vira.
Sada sannihitam vira.
Tatraman drakshyate bhavan.
Tatraman darshyate bhavan.
O great hero, I shall always be with you and give you protection in all respects, along with your associates and paraphernalia. Moreover, you will always be able to see me there. So Vamanadev will always be with you. Such amazing blessings. Text 36. Tatra danava daityanam
Tatradanava daityanam.
Sangate bhava asuraha
Sangrate bhava asuraha.
Dritsva mad anubhavam vai
Dritsvamadamabhavam vai.
Satya kunto vinakshati.
Satya kunto vinakshati.
Because there you will see my supreme prowess, your materialistic ideas and anxieties that have arisen from your association with the demons and danavas will immediately be vanquished. So it's very important to have
Association.
good association. So sometimes you are with your guru and you're thinking, I have no association. But actually you have the best association. You're thinking how to associate with my god brothers, with others, or god sisters, but actually that is the best association. So the Lord is giving him the best association. So similarly, when you are finished in this material world and before going back to Goloka or wherever your destination is, you will be placed in a planet where there's Krishna's pastime, and then you get whatever final attachment will be purified. Then the Prabhupada says, the Lord assured Bali Maharaj of all protection, and finally the Lord assured him of protection from effects of bad association with the demons. Bali Maharaj certainly became an exalted devotee, but he was somewhat anxious because his association was not purely devotional. The Supreme Personality of Godhead therefore assured him that his demoniac mentality would be annihilated. In other words, by the association of devotees, the demoniac mentality is vanquished. And this is from Kapila Dev, a famous verse. Satam prasanga mamavira samvido bhavanti ritkarna rasayana kata. When a demon associates with devotees engaged in glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he will gradually becomes a pure devotee. And so not just demons, even devotees should come together and glorify the Supreme Lord. So then they also can become pure devotees. Right? So that's end the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 8th canto, 22nd chapter. The Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Bali Maharaj is live. Tomorrow we'll do chapter 23 and 24.
What is the time tomorrow? What should we do?
You asking
9:30?
me?
9:30 to
9:30.
Huh?
10.
Okay, 10 to 1.
10 to 1 and then later.
Lunch and then after lunch.
Complete.
Until complete.
I think tomorrow it will complete that because
Sunday, you know. Sunday then no. Sunday the class. Tomorrow.
okay.
If we finish, no class on Sunday.
Okay.
We'll do something.
I have to go
Oh, you have something to do.
after.
Okay.
Otherwise, what about tomorrow morning and day after tomorrow morning?
You can do that also.
Like tomorrow 10 to 1 and then day after tomorrow 10 to
It's Monday.
Yeah, I'm fine.
It's Sunday.
Sunday. Come on.
Tomorrow is
Oh,
Sunday.
yeah.
Saturday.
Right. Okay.
That way, if
Yeah, we
Sankirtan-
can do it either way. No problem.
Okay, tomorrow 10 to 1. Saturday 10.
All right.
Sure.
Thank you. Sunday.
Hmm?
After lunch tomorrow.
No, they don't want. They want to extend the
Nectar.
the association.
Yeah.
All right. Gantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Brahmanam.